Go ahead, put it on real tight. Hope you brought your best tonight. They say they got the fireworks, yeah, they say they got the show. Here around the chutes, you're the best, so let's go.
This is Texas Toast. I'm your host, Miss Helen. Kick back and enjoy as we toast the best from Texas.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Texas Toast. I'm Miss Helen, along with a returning visitor. So excited. We're going to catch up. He's got a lot to talk about. We're going to dig in with Jake Bush. Hello, Jake. How are you?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. It's a beautiful morning. The sun is actually out today.
Yeah, it's a little overcast down here, but it looks like it's trying to peek on through.
Where are you at this morning?
I'm in Pasadena.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So last time we talked to you, you were coming off 2 consecutive number ones. And If You Ever Get Lonely was getting released. And I was looking at the charts. It's number 3 on the Texas Regional Radio Report, pushing the top 10 on the others. So congratulations on that. That's a phenomenal song.
Thank you. Yeah, we're pretty excited, overwhelmed with that one doing so well.
So, but let's talk about what we're here to talk about, and then we'll kind of play around with just visiting. Let's get serious and get down to business, what you're all about. Your new album entitled Where 90's Meets Now. You've got 7 songs on it, and your first release off of it, I'm in love with Cowgirl. It reminds me, because I know you're such the 90's person now. Let's rewind to back when you first came on the podcast. We're talking about the boy that would go to ride your bike to the library. That this amazed me, to check out CDs like from Chris Cagle. So yeah, Where 90's Meets Now is so you. So let's talk about Cowgirl, because what I was trying to get to is it just reminds me back in the day being at the dance hall in the clubs, country dancing like we used to.
Yep.
So tell us about Cowgirl. Where'd she go? We can't find her.
So that song was pitched to me by Carson Chamberlain. He wrote that with Clint Daniels and Jeff Hyde, and Clint has a couple. He's a Joe Nichols hit, John Pardee, George Strait. And Jeff Hyde's got a bunch of Eric Church songs and Ryan Beaver tunes, and then obviously Carson is, he's a legend. And they sent that to me a couple years ago, and Mo Pitney was singing on the demo, and I'm a huge Mo Pitney fan, and so I guess I believe that when you hear songs as a songwriter that you get pitched that you didn't write, you have to be in a certain place in your life to really have those songs resonate. And I had been touring with Josh Ward a lot, and that honky tonk muscle, I feel like was really stretched out. And when I heard that song, I was just like, whoa, like, what is this? And how did I overlook this? And, I sent it to Josh, and I was like, man, would you want to come and produce this song? And so you can hear some Josh Ward on there for sure. But man, when that song got done, it was like I was in the middle of Do-Si-Do watching somebody play, maybe Sundance Head or somebody. And I put both of my AirPods in, and it was just like, wow, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. 90's AF,
It's so you. It's so you for sure. So there's 7 songs on the album. What was the process of picking your songs? Where did they come from? I looked at some of the titles I'm kind of curious about, but I'll just let you kind of go through and let the listeners know exactly where your heart was and how you picked these songs. I know that's a hard process.
Yeah, it is. And, with the last album, 7, 3 of those songs were already released from a couple years back, and so I only had 4 new ones, which made it a little easier. And plus, during COVID and the funds to do it, and luckily we had already paid for the record before COVID hit, and that was a little easier. I didn't write. I don't think I wrote any of those. Maybe one, If You Ever Get Lonely, was the only song on that record that I wrote. The new songs out of the 4. And so this new record, I mean, I've been shopping these songs. I was going to do all outside cuts. And then I was like, man, I want to try to make it a even ratio, 1-to-1 if I can. And I ended up doing 3 that I wrote, 4 that I didn't. And simply because some songs are better than the ones you write, or maybe they live a little better in that house. So the first one that I wrote was 80 Miles. And I wrote that one with Carson Chamberlain and Wyatt McCubbin in 2019 on my very first trip to Nashville. And I wrote that the same weekend that I wrote Better by the Beer. And I never thought I would put that to a record just because it was a little different than what I had exercised. And you'll hear it when it comes out. It's like the John Mayer part of me, like when I was a kid and I would just, your body is a wonderland, and you'll hear the influence of that part of me. And, also some of those songs I needed. And then the other song that I wrote on there is Who Knows. And I wrote that song with Luke Reed and on a songwriter retreat with Drew Fish. And that's just the most honest song. And it's literally just me and a guitar. No overdubs, no auto tune. I wanted something raw country, something 90s, like that you could sit there, close your eyes and feel the heartbreak. And that song's just a story about stuff that I've carried, as an adult through my childhood, with losing my best friend and, breaking my high school sweetheart, breaking her heart, I feel like every day as a kid. And then the last verse is just kind of talking to the world. And I'll share it with you. It reminds me a little bit of almost like a Bible verse. It says that the problem we live with is simple. We should love the way that we are, the way that Jesus gave his life to save us, so we won't break each other's hearts. And I just feel like the world needs that. We need that. And yeah, I mean, the rest of the songs were just so easy. She Made Leaving Look Easy is 90s, and the demo sounded like a George Strait song, and I was like, yeah. And then yeah, Cowgirl was an easy call. Talk 90s to me, I wrote that laying in bed. I didn't have my guitar, I just had my phone and was just writing these lyrics. And I paused the show and I showed Brittany, and like, babe, you got to hear this. I don't know if I'm going anywhere, but I can hear Daryl Singletary singing the song, and it made the record. And that's probably the coolest song on that record to me. And Tractor Town is my all-time favorite song that I've ever cut, ever. And I mean, it takes a lot to do that, because Gravity and You has my heart forever. But Tractor Town was a William Michael Morgan, Dan Alley, Mark Addison Chandler. And man, it was just, first time I heard that was a demo on YouTube, and came out of nowhere like a record catch, a record catch from a little punt, a jazz chord in a country song. Something most folks wait forever, but they never come around to, like a Cadillac in a Tractor Town. When you hear it, it's like Achy Breaky Heart meets me. It's the coolest dynamic, and it's 90s, and I'm very, very proud of this record.
Well, it sounds like you should be, because it's funny because 3 of the songs I had written down, just because I saw the titles, it intrigued me. And the 80 Miles, Talk 90s to me, Who Knows, those were 3 that I had written down. So how long did it take you in the studio and the process?
It took me about all year last year, and a little bit of I mean, I finished it all last year. I was in the studio every 2 months. I would go in and track, and then I would go back for vocals, and then I would go back and track, and I would go back for vocals. And the guys up there, they really care, man. They really care, and it's become a home of mine.
At Rosewood?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Nate Kuhn he's the session drummer, and obviously he plays for Aaron Watson, and we've become pretty tight. And he really cares about the music, and he cares about the artists, and he cares about the songs. And he puts a lot of input, and obviously Drew is incredible. And then the band that I have play on there is just great dudes.
Yes, they are. They do such a great job, and I'm so happy that I can call them acquaintances and friends, because I get to work with them on different things, and hung out with Nate at the TCMA Awards, and we just had a big time. So you've got some shows coming up, plus your shows are including big CD release. I know this will be airing, but I think it's awesome that you're doing a big CD release at the Kenny's store.
Yeah, that's Tony and Rita, man. I met them about, I say, a little over a year ago, and man, what an amazing place. And I have the honor of doing an acoustic listening party there. On the inside stage, same stage that all my heroes are played on. And
yes,
I get to tell the stories and take my time, and it's going to be a special night. I really appreciate Tony and Rita and the Kenny store for sure.
Yeah, well, later on, some of the fixtures at the Kenny store, I'm going to be with all my Belleville friends this evening, so I'm going to make sure I tell them to make sure they pop into the Kenny store and see it, because they're all right there. They're there all the time.
Yeah.
So what other shows do you have coming up?
So Friday, I'm in La Feria, Texas with Randall King. It's my first time down there in the Valley. And then Saturday, I have my big CD release party on the south side at Jackie's Brick House in Kemah.
Oh, nice.
And then next week, I have February 11th, I'll be in Buda with Randall again at Mavericks. And then that Saturday, I'll have my north side CD release party at Sawyer Park in Spring.
Okay.
And then the rest of the month is cook off and Nashville trip. And moving into a new house. It's a busy month.
Yeah, tell me about I heard there's all kind of good news on your personal side. So you got a new house coming and you're engaged now?
I am.
So tell me about it.
Everything's been just, man, it's blessings. And it's not, there's sometimes where it's obviously life is just kind of pushes you down and you're just like, man, is this it? Is this as good as it's going to get, And I feel like God always has a way of picking you up and brushing you off and putting you where you need to be. And yeah, Brittany and I, we've been looking at houses, and it's been a headache and stress city over here. And so we finally found one, and it ended up being the house that we liked out of all of them, that we really loved. And I'll be able to have a room that I can write in and have an office and music room, and it's a blessing. And I'm excited. It's Brittany's first house by herself as an adult, and I'm excited for that too. Just us and our dogs, and a creative space for me.
Yeah, and how's your kitchen? Because I know you love to cook. So tell me, you're gonna have outdoor kitchen, indoor kitchen. Tell me about your kitchen, Jake.
Yeah, kitchen, man. The kitchen's awesome. That's what sold me. The countertops are nice. There's enough room in there, and then obviously I got my barbecue pit. So pretty excited. It's different. I've had my folks living with me the last few years, and Brittany and I have never really been alone. So now we get to be alone and really get to see who we are and grow as an engaged couple and soon to be married couple. And
how are the wedding plans going? Do you have a date set? Or are you kind of gonna kind of do one of those where you schedule it long term, or you're gonna do it right away?
I feel like we're gonna do a shotgun wedding. Honestly, I feel like we don't know where my career is gonna go this year. It could be real busy. Who knows? COVID could just do its thing again. So I think we're just kind of waiting, and we're so in sync with each other that we're not rushing. If we have to go do a little white church and throw a party later, and that's what we do. We love each other, and I feel like that's all that matters. All that big wedding stuff is cool, but we get to throw parties all the time, so do something between us.
I kind of like that plan. I think that's the best. Okay, well, we're looking forward to the new album, and I guess it's on all the platforms where everybody can find their music.
Yep. Yeah. It's so the CDs, the hard copies won't be out until this Saturday, but everything digital will be out Friday.
Okay.
And fingers crossed that we end up somewhere cool on the charts too for Friday.
Oh yes, absolutely. Following that and looking forward to the new album. I know I'm just like, I can't wait. I'm antsy pantsy. Can't wait to hear the new songs, because I know the work that you put into it. But I love the title, because I know that where 90s meets now, that is your wheelhouse. That is what you are, who you are. And the music that you bring is it's just so inspiring. It's happy. It makes you dance. You cover all the bases in your music.
Well, thank you. I'm glad. It's tough, it's really tough trying to please everybody and also please your inner soul, and I feel like this record definitely is exactly who I am, and it's a what you see is what you get kind of thing.
So outside of all the other exciting stuff, we're talking about the new house and your upcoming nuptials, you've also made a big decision in your lifestyle.
I have, yeah. About 6 months ago, I quit drinking, and being in the music business, it's tough because you're surrounded by it, and you're surrounded by a lot of people who like to do that, which is cool. That was a huge, I feel like a huge part of my life, and no pun intended, but it was consuming me, and health stuff. And then you just sometimes have to just take a step back, and I was only going to do it for about a month and just see how I felt. And then I started losing weight and working out and feeling better and feeling clear. And now 6 months, and yeah, I'm done. Feel great.
Well, good for you. That's awesome. Okay, well, everybody check it out. Where 90s meets now. It's out. by the time this airs, it'll be out and we'll all be enjoying it. Thank you so much for taking the time to catch up with us and talk briefly with us about the new album. Thanks, Jake.
Anytime.
With a heavy tongue, she knew where I was from. As she left, I dared to say, well, you can go to hell. Hell, I'll go to Texas. I've had my fill of every place but home. Well, take away the